Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream and 132, I think it is. Keep saying that. But yeah, it's 132, and we will talk various topics today, probably the quantum computer, recap of Stanton, what's the other one? Looking at the atom being photographed, and MetaMaterials. So, and plus anyone that wants to come on and talk, of course, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to cue up some music. It's kind of a lazy Sunday. I've got 5 hours sleep, so just cue to our intro and give off some music. Hopefully it's playing. Reduce that first time screen. Please like and share. It's not going to be a 10-minute episode. Hopefully it will last 3 hours. I don't want to go over 3 hours anymore. Some people join us already. Quite read who you are. Robert's there on the side. Hello. I'll get to you in a minute after the intro's finished. Truth sounds like hate to those who hate the truth. Sometimes it's hard to know what the truth is, though. So yeah, that's why we do these live streams, to try and figure it out. And also, just end the music there. Good to be back. Just double check that's running too. Good to be back. It's always fun. The last live stream we had was a lot of fun, I thought, and we covered a lot of stuff, and used a bit of the reader there. That was kind of funny, but saved me a lot of talking. But I thought it came out pretty good. Sometimes he sounded a bit drunk, but yeah, it must be a slow down thing that happens. So who we got on the side here? I better unmute John. So did that sound all right there, John?
Yep.
Yeah, you heard the music. Let's see. Indicators are not really going up much. I wonder if I can.
What's this Japanese stuff going on in the side chat?
Yeah, someone's posting, I think. I just need to probably do not disturb on that. I wonder if it affects our thing. I haven't tried it before, but let's try it. I'm going to, because the other app on the other screen makes a beep noise. And we're still working all right. Got it turned off now for beeps, I hope. You still there, John? Yep, you are. Cool. I can still hear you. Can you still hear me? John?
Yeah, I guess I can.
Cool. Okay, so who we got on the side here? Japanese, did you say? Japanese, I don't know what that is. It looks like some characters of some kind, whatever that translates to. We can only
it
talk.
Looks like a bot or something.
Yeah, maybe we have to put them in timeout to delete those messages. I don't know. Can you actually look up those characters at all? Hello, Robert. Robert in the house. We're on Discord if you
getting
want to
there.
come on and chat. You can talk all you want. But I have got some topics lined up if we got no one else that wants to talk today. But I'll just recap some of what we did just last live stream and other stuff that we couldn't get at the time. So the first one is Stanton Freeman. So yeah, I took some snapshots from that bio film. I'm not sure if you did it. It said it was Paranormal TV. So here are some images of him working on this nuclear program. It doesn't look too exciting. It looks like typical science stuff. What's that oscilloscope there? Oscilloscope of some sorts. Don't know what that is. Looks like these old telephone exchanges. Let's see, it's probably another scope of some kind. Spectrograph, maybe. I don't know. Looks like a printout machine next to him here. It looks like a fancy quad tape system up the top here. Yeah. So basically, they spent a whole 5 minutes on his work history. So to me, it looks like he was like a person that worked in the laboratory, analyzing results or sensor readouts. Way he talks about his work history, though, makes himself sound like he's like the leader of the project, or standing at the front of the queue, watching it being lit up and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got another image here. So I think he's a good storyteller. Exaggerates a wee bit, makes himself sound a bit better than, well, makes his job sound a wee bit better than it was. And here's another one here. Because if it was really that good and he loved doing it and it was paying really good, he would have stayed doing it, I think. Working from Westinghouse. Was that the last one we read off on the list that he was working for in the interview?
I think it was going to McDonnell Douglas, I think.
Was that the last one? Because he said at Westinghouse they're working on fission and fusion rockets. So really, it sounds like the whole project was funded by the military program and not NASA or anything like that, obviously, or the government. It says here nuclear rockets, see? And I thought that was the last one he hopped into, because the other ones he talked about nuclear planes. So this one, if it's sort of mixed up there, I don't know whether he's mixed up in his head, because as you get older, you can mix up facts. But what the hell is this thing he's looking at here? So this is obviously in the second place that he worked at. Obviously, these weren't classified, maybe, I don't know. Looks like he's measuring the weight of some chemicals. Looks like some sort of scale system in there. Balances, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
With some sort of shielding, maybe. Lead shield. You think people that work with nuclear products would get radiation? Some radiation problems. So yeah, he's doing pretty good so far. It's amazing how many UFO people, we've talked about it before, get rare cancers and suddenly die very quickly, and makes you wonder if the UFO field is actually a safe place to be. So is Robert still with us, or has he gone on his way? I know he wants to talk about Stanton and maybe Roswell, so he can come on and talk if he wants.
Well, he's in Discord. And
I'm only getting one watching here, so, and looks like it's the same on the admin window, so it looks like it's just you, maybe, I don't know. So so he got offered to do a lecture, right? And here it says in the caption, it was a morning lecture, so he was taking half a day off, and so he asked for $100 based on his current pay. So I guess he made a fair bit of money being a nuclear physicist for that time. $100 a day, maybe, is what he's saying there. or maybe $200 a day. It sounds a wee bit too much, $200 US a day, though, doesn't it, for a nuclear physicist? Maybe not. So that makes it about $1,000 a week. And next one he's saying here, and that the guys told him he's quite happy with the $100 to pay him the $100, and he's paying the other people $1,200 to $1,500, which is the sort of thing you wouldn't want to hear after you've said how much you want. So that, and then he says here on the next one, some money, perhaps enough to support a family, given lectures. So he realised at that time, back then, that he could spend 1 or 2 hours in a lecture and get a week's pay. So that's probably the main incentive, to get out of that boring laboratory work into something that's more interested, that he was more interested in. So yeah, and of course his early picture of him, and I thought, that can't be him. He looks like a black man, doesn't he? He's got the lips and the nose. I just wonder if he's got any black heritage in him. But he talks about his grandparents coming from Lithuania and Ukraine, and his parents got raised in New Jersey, I think it was. So I don't know what his parents did. So, but yeah, sounds like he had a interest in science at school, and he was saying that the teacher was saying that the sun is always still in the planet's orbit, and he told this teacher that was wrong, that we're always moving in space. We've talked about that a couple of live streams back. We're moving through space, and in 3D on a spiral arm. And when he told the teacher that, she basically told him off for speaking out in class against what the teacher was saying and all that sort of stuff. I suppose that's back in the 50s, wasn't it, where they sort of used to whack the strap over the hands if you were out of line. So yeah.
Oh, and the cat, yeah,
And
Catholic schools, and then
yeah. Oh, they're worse, weren't they?
yeah.
So yeah, we used to have a teacher that used to lock a rowdy kid into a cupboard. And the kid kicked off the door of the cupboard and broke the cupboard, and then he got him to pay for it, repairs. But yeah, he didn't actually get sacked, that guy. He probably got told off for doing it. I think he got reported. The kid said it to parents. But yeah, he stayed on, and he ended up running a big burger place in the city here that everybody knew, because it was made in the shape of a UFO. Can't quite remember what his name was now, but he's probably dead now. But yeah, he wasn't as evil as he come across. So he sort of mellowed out after that incident, and the kids ended up liking him, because he used to do free hamburgers at school every year, hundreds and hundreds of burgers given away. So yeah, when he retired, he had a big party, and I got a free hamburger, and I never had him as a teacher, but so I don't know. So yeah, that's the images I've got. And of course, this is one on Twitter as well, so I'll just see if I can bring that up too. So you were saying something about Stanton, that he pays his own way, and motels and food and all that, when he goes to these lectures, events.
Right.
And everybody else, like ancient aliens, demand everything to be paid for. So that's a good thing that he does there. So to me, he's obviously a really honest person. He actually tells you why he went to the UFO field, because he could see there's money to be made in it, which was more interesting, and obviously less grunge work. And but yeah, he still likes to say he was helping out with the nuclear program, doesn't he? So, and that sort of gets a bit old after a while. People, I was just trying to resize it properly. It's not too bad, I think. Okay, let's see. So I was going to talk about metamaterials. As I said on the intro, look at the atom, photo of the atom. Well, it's a claim to be a photo of the atom. Quantum computers, which is a bit a tricky one to get your head around. And it looks to me like there's some issues with quantum computers. So I'll go over that if no one else wants to come on and talk about stuff. Leave it open. So yeah, my Twitter account, I don't think I've got that in the list here. Just see if I can find that post. Hopefully the audio and all that's working all right. It's not crackling or anything strange.
Sounds fine to me.
Oh, you got the cops coming after you again.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's my one? Why can't I see it? I thought I had it queued up here. I haven't, no. Oh, right, that's the other thing I was going to talk about too. You notice I've changed the color scheme, so you can actually see what it's doing. So it's not all black now, it's got a light gray, so we can actually see the icons here. Although I don't really like the light gray, it sort of works, so it's not too bad. And
Right.
we can see the buttons over this side now. And when you click on the tabs, they should highlight. Why is it not? See, it highlights the gray color. We couldn't see that before, so we didn't know which one I was closing down. So it's still loading by the looks of it. I don't know, it's going a wee bit funny today. Hopefully it's going all right. So how do we get rid of that? Okay, so we're looking for, all right, I must just go through some posts I've done here first. So this one here, not to do with UFOs, but to do with faking, was debunked by Captain Disillusion, or Captain D, as some people call him. And then they can clean so it didn't fool the world. Oh, right. I think I was a bit clean. I think I must have missed a word there. Anyway, they said that they fooled the world, but actually they didn't. They didn't fool Captain D, and they didn't fool me and a few other people. We knew it was fake. Basically, this bird flies down and grabs the kid and flies away with him. And it's all CGI. Let's see. I'll just bring it up anyway. Maybe clean was meant to be clean. It was like 5 in the morning. Yeah, that's probably what I was trying to mean. Open new tab. There we go. Of course, it's Daily Mail. You can see it's going a bit slow. All these ads popping up. Probably play the video clip there, is it? No. There it comes. Big birds flying down. Bigger than an eagle, of course. It picks up the kid and flies away. Or the baby, I should say. And of course, they come out and come out like a film school, but like that Israel one that was Jaime Maussan was bringing out from Brazil.
Good old Jaime.
I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit more so you can see it better. Just trying to get it to the point where it flies down. There it goes, grabs the kid. You can see it'd be physically impossible because that would be a lot of weight. The bird would have to be a lot bigger as well. Like a pterodactyl. So, was a hoax. Uni professor reveals how his students fooled the world with CGI footage of child being grabbed. So here's some close-ups. So it's kind of UFO-y. Obviously, they see the bird circling above here. But this shows how good CGI can be. Like they can have the bird flap its wings, and they can sort of just put it over top of a regular video and make the shadows and all that sort of stuff. So where's the shadow of the bird at this stage here, though? There's the shadow of something standing here, isn't it? Person there, person there. The angles are all wrong too, look. Oh, that's meant to be the bird shadow here, right? That angle's different to this angle of the shadow. So something's not quite right, eh? That shadow there. So yeah, you can start to, when you know something's a hoax, you can start looking at the video and looking for clues, what you can look in the future for. So where's the shadow here of the birds? Is that it there on the ground? Again, it's slightly out to the shadows here. Although it is going up a hill, so that up a hill it would probably distort the shadow, but I don't think it would be that much out on that slope here. You can see that one's probably a real shadow. It bends around. You see the hill goes around there. But yeah, quite an interesting post there. I'll post it the link downside since we used it. Although I don't like to promote fakey people. Eagle CGI. Now CGI can be 2D or 3D. 3D. This means computer generated image. That's all it means. So Photoshop is a computer generated image still, even though it's 2D. And does that work?
Cool little video though. Added that.
Yeah, it's quite good. I called out a few people, obviously, but not us debunkers that look at this stuff all the time and look at a critical thing. Often you have to play it over and over again just to pick out stuff. I think Captain D did do that one. I'm not sure if you can search him. He's a good guy to go and watch. He's got a lot of interesting videos up. He's like the king of the CGI, but he's on the good side, not the evil side. So I'm not sure how we spell his name. Captain Disillusion or something. Disillusion, something like that. Let's see if I got it right. Here he is. Captain Disillusion. Disillusion. Okay.
Disambiguation.
Yeah, he's like a cheap, wears a cheap costume, pretends to be a superhero. Debunking stuff, how they did it in CGI effects. So yeah, so what I want to do is find, pretty sure he did the eagle one. So let's see if we can find eagle. Let's have a look. Any of those look like the eagle one? Fire angel. Levitation, that one's quite a good one. The undebunkable, I don't think so. Yeah, it didn't come up, did it?
I think that's it, isn't it? The third one. Behind him, isn't that the lady?
Oh, here it is. Golden Eagle snatches. Is that him? No. Golden Eagle. No, that's a train. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on his channel though, but what's he called it? Oh, 3 men and a baby debunk. Is that the one? Takes a poke at the old Hollywood urban legend. Don't think it sounds like the same one. Hoax. No, that's not him.
ABC News uploaded that.
Maybe he didn't do that one. Other people have put it up, obviously. But he normally breaks it down to how you actually do it in CGI. And he points out all the errors, which is quite good for people that are actually doing Blender. He uses a Blender for his CGI. Same as A51S. Did that not post? Did we? Did it not post before? It posted? Looks like it is. You got rid of the Japanese or Chinese or whatever it is. Did you work out what the character was saying? Was it like a swear word? Was it
I
saying?
have no idea.
I'm not sure if you can cut and paste it to find out. Probably won't let me select it.
I didn't even bother trying.
Actually, the message is gone. Yeah, kind of strange. We won't worry about it. Yeah. So we couldn't find it, so we move on. But I should actually bring up his channel really and paste it inside. People can go and have a look for it themselves then. Yes, he's actually got a website here, has he? I think a lot of these big channels have a website, don't they? So it adds into the searchability of their material. Latest episode. Searchability of their material. We got some feedback. Excuse me, I'm dying. Can you mute your YouTube, guys? I'm gonna have to mute you. Let me know when you got it sorted out, because that'll drive everybody crazy otherwise. It looks like you sorted it out. Just right click and say mute. Maybe there, John. When that happens.
Who, me?
Yeah, just drag them into. You can drag yourself into the grey room, and drag them into the grey room, and make sure they've got it all sorted out, and then drag them back into the live room. That's what it's for. When you get the problems like that. As we get the feedback loop going for 10 minutes or whatever, and I have to mute the whole lot otherwise. But that wasn't too bad. Just letting you know, that's what the grey room's for, is to sort out those technical glitches. Just if someone's causing an echo in the background, just drag them into that grey room and jump in there until they got it sorted out, and then come back. If that makes sense. I actually was trying to find his YouTube channel here, but it hasn't come up. It must be on the first one. Oh, here you go. Don't spend too long on that one. It's just like a sidetrack one. So videos.
Nice to see you, Robert.
Yep. Unfortunately, we haven't got the video side of things going still on this new setup. So we're only voice only for the time being.
John, can you hear me?
It certainly can. You sound wonderful.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? I think he's having trouble there, John. You might have to drag him into the other room and come back when you're ready, guys. Just close that down there. So I was looking for, let's see, I was looking for, which one was it now? Oh, right. Yeah, that one, Einstein. That was quite funny, I thought. Although it's got some swear words on it. The thing about smart M people, they sound like crazy M's to dumb M's, which is pretty much true, actually. Some clever people do sound crazy. I was just trying to find the one of the UFO. Whereabouts did I post it? Russia. Oh, here it is. Alien Babel. I wonder if I've been blocked or not. So this UFO video here I put up for everybody to have a look at. I retweeted it and said, what do you think? And see if anyone picked up the same things I did. So I'll just play it now.
Is it on its side?
It must be about 3,000 feet up now, I'd say.
The volume going through.
Wow, look at that.
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I can't tell.
Nobody's going to believe us except I got it on film, huh?
Okay, you can see how windy it is there. And that's sort of a clue.
I keep losing it. There it is.
Oh my God. It's.
I can't get it.
I'm speechless.
There goes a jet right by it.
Yeah, they're going
a little higher. There's the jet, and there's the saucer.
Oh my God.
I got a better view of it now.
Oh my God.
I know. Wow.
I'll just mute that because they sound a bit crazy. Okay, so if you're watching there with an eagle eye, you will see that the thing seemed to not have any control whatsoever. It seemed to be not spinning. It seemed to be slowly angling upwards, and you could see that it also flipped over. So the heavy side was actually underneath, and then you could hear the wind pick up there if you listen carefully, and you see it flip backwards again vertically, then back around again. So the red flag is that UFOs don't fly upside down. You see that it flew upside down there for 5 seconds, which would be crazy for a UFO to do that. From all the videos I've seen, I've never seen a UFO fly upside down. Also, it's really windy there, and it obviously is a legit video. We saw a plane in the background there. So, although there's always a possibility that it could be CGI, a really good CGI, I don't think so in this case. Obviously, there was multiple people filming it, so there might be other videos of the same event out there. But it's just one of these balloons that I've got up on the screen here. This sucker, you can see it's quite big. You can deflate the underneath part of it, and you can have it on a tether as well. So I'm not sure if that one in the video has been tethered some distance away from where they're filming. It's probably that, was it Robert Bingham guy? The balloon watcher or balloon summoner. They release a lot of balloons and then start filming, and everybody's going, wow, look at all those UFOs. So yeah, the flying pig guy, you know, the flying pig balloon, you might remember that from a few lives back that I talked about, where we had all the guys on. What was I think it was at the end of maybe Mojo's live event number 2 that we did. Live stream 11, I think it might have been. It's a long time ago now. But you can see it's massive here. They can come in different sizes, but you can see it's exactly the same when you have a look at this particular balloon you can buy from Hong Kong and China and Malaysia. A lot of shops sell it. Helium balloon has like a thin plastic wireframe inside, and you can inflate various sections of it. So we go back to the video, have a better look at it again, and you'll see.
I want a balloon like that.
So when to Robert, did you get him sorted out? Because I can't hear him.
I think so. Robert, are you there?
Robert?
Dawn, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can he hear me?
You should be able to hear.
Island, hiya, G and Island. Is he there too? Is he?
Yes, I can hear. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just play this video again for in case you missed it, and you can see it's a balloon. So Always look for red flags in it. Like I said, look where it's moving. Is it spinning? Is it doing crazy maneuvers, like flying off really fast? Or is it just a really windy day? Is it going with the wind and all that sort of stuff? So I've disputed it.
Oh,
so
it's amazing, isn't he?
So we don't want to hear the wind, but I'll turn it back on.
Wow, look at that.
Is it?
You can see it's not
Nobody's
spinning.
gonna believe us except I got it on film, huh?
You did.
I keep losing it. There it is.
Oh my God.
See the diamond shape? You can see the aperture of the camera.
I'm speechless.
There goes a jet right by it.
Yeah, there goes
A little higher. There's the
You can
jet.
see, if you look carefully there, you can
And
see it
there's
was
the saucer.
deforming a bit with the air current.
Oh my God.
I got a better view of it now.
See how the top of it's being
Oh my God.
pushed in with the wind current? You can see it got a dimple. Then it flips around.
Wow.
So yeah, and of course the video ends very suddenly. We don't see it fly off or anything. So yeah, there's a lot of red flags on that one, and of course a lot of people were saying, "Wow, fantastic!" And who dropped off there or dropped in? That's a pretty old clip. One of the best, may I add. I don't know. I'm sure it's from around 2010. Imagine with the aliens have now. I'm sure they working on stabilizer problem. I don't think of that. Thank you for shedding some light on the craft's motion. It's a balloon, and even UFO interest here is posted. But you can see here they got the bottom half of it inflated, and it's less droopy like the one I was showing you with the men pulling along. You can see how thin the cable is to anchor it to the ground. So obviously it's going to use for, fairs, live, presentation events outside places, like UFO places. Does anyone now know why aliens seem to like sources? Well, it's all to do with the physics of it, the shape of it for energy flow. Also, air friction, of course. And of course, I put a hint here to a website. At the time, I didn't. Actually, did UFO interest add in after me or something there? Looks like it. So I'll just click the link. Are these guys still there? Hello?
Here. Rob left the building.
Left the building. Why? He can talk in a minute, so I'm just wrapping up this bit I was finishing off. So here you can see this. He's left completely.
Yep.
Door knock or something. Well, it's getting ready for him to take over. Okay, here's the people standing behind. There's that one I got before with the people towing it along, trying to get it up in the air. There's another one in the warehouse blowing up. But you can get all these things from China, all these blimpies and things. Do we get rid of that thing popping up?
That looks like the thing that was on the side chat.
Big soccer ball. So they've got all sorts of stuff you can buy here. Globe of the planet and various colored blimps that you can get printed put onto it, I suppose. Transfers. So you get buy these plain looking colored blimpy things, and you can just put your own company logo on, just fly outside your building. That one looks very Kiwi like here. Sprint over here. I'm not sure if they got a price from, but I reckon they're not cheap. Smart. So yeah, you just got to be careful of people trying to fool you I think it's that Robert Bingham guy that does a lot of it. So that's all I was going to show you on that one. Has he left Facebook too there? Do you know? I think it's Robert Bingham. Let's see. Balloon Man. Robert Bingham. Oh, here we are. Balloon guy. Where they're all looking at some of this party balloons. Pinky. So we can actually play some of that again probably and have a laugh.
Oh, that guy.
That guy, yeah. So it's slightly. You come in after we talked about this guy.
Yeah, I can summon UFOs.
He has these. He actually made the newspapers and Fox News and CNN and stuff, didn't he? And
oh, probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I'll just get to the beginning. So where's all the people?
Oh.
He hasn't got many people there at the moment. So let's have a skim of it. Let's see what we've got here. But you can see straight away balloon-like, a white-coloured one maybe there. You can see the shape of a balloon, a tear shape. There you go. I don't think it's on a cable though, but you can never tell because you can see how thin the wire was. Yeah. I've already talked for 40. That can't be right, can it? I couldn't have talked for 40 minutes already, surely. Yeah, you can see here it's clearly a white balloon of some sort and it's rotating around in the wind. Now it's underneath. Robert, come on, do you want to talk? It's open to you now. I was just talking about these, this last image. But what's worse is he's got one with a pink inflated pig. It might be one of these ones here. I think it was called Pinky. But I think it was a bunch of balloons, this one, from a wedding that sort of blew off from an archway. Let's see. Pinky, he's calling it. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. What's that? I don't know what he's aiming at that for.
It's the Jetsons.
Is he talking about a building with funny logos on it?
Masons.
And a statue of what the hell is that? Is that some sort of statue that's painted pink? But that's not a balloon. Now here comes the balloon now. It's just ridiculous. And this is only last year, of course. I think Robert would be cursing and swearing at this guy. There you go. What is he saying? It's a critter or something. Hang on. I wonder if we can get him to talk. Come and talk to us.
And if you notice, if you go through the video, when I play the whole video, if you go through it slowly and freeze frame it, you'll see that there's a bulge sticking out of the side of it. And like I said, it's very intelligent. It's a great capture. Some people call it an Ibani. I don't like it. I prefer not that name. So I'm calling it Pinky. But, you know, it doesn't matter what the name is. What matters is that you know that it's not man-made, and that it's intelligent, and that they are here.
He's saying it's intelligent life. Did you hear that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd have to listen to it. He's saying that's an intelligent life critter. Come on, John, even you would know that was colon. You'd know that was a bunch of pink balloons tied together.
Either that or somebody's colon's floating around in the sky.
But that's not the pink pig one. But yeah, I thought we were waiting for Robert to join us. Is he in the side chat at all?
Nope.
Is he gone? We got 4 people watching though. So yeah, if not, I'll carry on with the next topic then. If no one wants to come on. Robert Bingham flying. Is it a pig? What it was called now? He didn't call it pig though. Now look at this bunch of balloons here. Look. Captures an amazing craft. Let's have a look at that one. The guy's a joke. He makes thousands and thousands of dollars off these people.
Hi, this is Robert Bingham.
Better mute him. So we don't want to laugh too much. We'll just skim it. So this is a craft. He's talking about it. No closed captions, huh? That's really, he's got it turned off. Why would you do that? So what are we looking at there? That's a hell of a lot of balloons tied together. So I think Earl Grey even checked out this guy here. And
I mean, you can see the strings for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Basically, Earl Grey actually he actually saw the guys launch it from the distance, away from the vent, from a hill. He said he actually saw them doing it. So yeah, he definitely knows that they fake it to get people coming along. It's out of focus at all, which doesn't help if they focused it.
Right.
But I'm just trying to figure out if it's how many balloons are on it, whether it's like a character balloon on that one. But you can see all the individual circles, right? So there's a lot of balloons tied together.
Right.
And you can see the strings coming down here. Yeah, but that's not the pig one. Anyway, we don't spend too much time looking at that rubbish. How many followers has he got now? He's doing better than me, 9,000 people. And he got 54 likes on that. Could you believe that 54 people like that? Let's see, have a look at the comments here.
The pictures are priceless.
Cool. Forward to your new video. See if anyone's got any brains out here. They'll probably delete the messages though, wouldn't they? I do not agree that these are ships or crafts. I invite you, Mr. Bingham, to investigate with the free organization and can provide you with a link. It looks like a lot of morphin heads at a contact. I'd love to see your pics, Robert. Is that all we got on it? Oh, there must have been a lot more comments than that. No, not a single balloon. Maybe only mental people watch that channel. I don't know. Anyway, enough for him. So, what's happened to Robert? Is he out there? No.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he is. He's on the side here. I think he may have got a doorbell ring or something, doesn't he? Oh, no. Yeah, no, Robert's on the side. Isn't he? Oh, he's got it on Do Not Disturb all of a sudden. Anyway, I'll carry on with the next topic. Oh, right, so he sent me a message up here. Is that him? Yeah, I don't want to. I'm here. I'm in the right place. Too complicated for my liking. What was I saying the other day, John? Well, I'll leave you to deal with him and see if we can get him back on. I don't know how anyone finds Discord hard. Hey, look, I'm doing 1, 2, 3 things on my main window at the same time. I've got this one over here. That's 4. Got the side chat here. That's 5. And this one here, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things going all on my computer. Plus, yeah, that's probably it. Plus, it's all going through the same internet connection. So yeah, it's doing pretty well. Anyway, quantum computers. I'll just leave that to the end. Right. What was that one? Atoms on a pinhead. So yeah, I want to talk about this article coming up here, where they claim they photographed it. Now, they're saying that in between these two, I don't know, pinheads. Well, you can see the screws here, so you can see how big this device is. So you know how small screws can get until they're not practical to turn. So they could be very small, like the watchmaker screws, but still you can see these are pretty big, and that pinhead here, I believe, is going to be quite thick even still. But they're claiming they photographed one atom, which I believe is BS. So here is a photo of a single trapped atom, is absolutely breathtaking. So I don't believe it's a single atom. So they've got a picture here of it, where they claim that's a single atom. I don't believe it. I believe that might be multiple atoms grouped together, and they're reflecting the laser light of it. Yeah.
Yeah, probably big atom.
Yeah, it looks like a really big atom, doesn't it?
Yep.
So I was looking up to see how many atoms are on a pinhead. How many atoms can fit on a head of a pin? According to chemistry, about 5 million hydrogen atoms can fit on a pinhead. So how many zeros is that? That's 12 zeros. 5 divided by 12. Some factors would affect that number, like the area of the head and the size of the atoms. So I suppose carbon atom would be a lot bigger, but still, it's going to be a few millions of atoms. So I don't believe it's a single atom they're doing there. Atomic radiation radii increases, will fit less atoms on a pin. So how did they do the experiment is the question. So we should better shut that one down. And what did they say here? Let's see if I can get it read out. Hopefully it works. It worked before the live stream.
At the very center of the image above is something incredible, a single, positive light-charged strontium atom, suspended in motion by electric fields. Not only is this an incredibly rare sight, it's also difficult to wrap your head around the fact that this tiny point of blue light is a building block of matter. Tiny specks of energy just like this one are at the center of so much of the stuff around us, and the thought that we can see this one makes our hearts hurt. In case you're struggling to get a close enough view to see what we're talking about, the team over at Gizmodo has done the zoom work for you. Just look at it.
Okay, so this is not an electron microscope. That's how they normally do it. They bounce electrons off a piece of matter, and then they got detectors to work out the angles of the return of the electrons that bounce off the atoms. Some obviously pass through, or join, get absorbed into the atom as well. And what they do is they build up using CGI, computer-generated imagery, to build up a 3D model of what they're imaging. And that's where you get those nice pictures of the creepy crawly things. Like, so I'm just reading the side chat here. Who was it? But this is not what they're claiming. They're claiming to actually see it with pure light, the atom here in this article, which I think is BS. Yeah, that's too big. Yeah, that's what I think too. So, like I said, our channel is about question everything. You know, doesn't matter who you are or what you do. We're going to question everything that you say, articles and whatnot. I don't claim to know it all. That's why I do research. We do live debunking, and we research it as we go, and we try and figure it out. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, electron microscope. Is how you normally do it, and it's not really looking at it with pure light. It's looking at it with charged particle, pretty much, or electron, negative, bouncing off other charges. And it's quite a big piece of equipment. As you can see here, hooked up to an old PC here on this picture here. And that's looking at bacteria and other materials. Not to be mixed up with the spectroscope, which looks at the frequencies emitted from atoms and works out a color code, which works out the elements inside a compound. So you see the light frequencies bouncing off. You can know if it's hydrogen, helium, carbon, and all that sort of stuff by how much of the light is absorbed on a spectroscope. But in this other article, they're talking about bacteria. Oh, well, mite one's pretty good. So here's some electron microscopes images. It's artificial colored, of course. So if we look at here, we got this Arctic bear, is it? It's called an Arctic bear. They use it a lot on. I think it's Arctic bear, isn't it? I think I got it wrong last time. I called it Arctic something else. But you can see here's worms and mites on your skin. And these are all living on us all the time. In the bed, in the folds of eyes and lips. Kind of freaky. So these are the real aliens amongst us. I did a video called Aliens Amongst Us, and I go through all of it. If you haven't seen it, you probably be scratching by the end of it, and probably enjoy what I was saying about what it is. We could have aliens all around us and not even know. These might be intelligent beings in their own sense, but they're in a different level of size. So yeah, people laughing about aliens. I reckon there's a lot in the sea that we haven't seen as well, which are kind of new species or whatever. They can live in the right depths where there's no sun even, and they get their energy from volcano heat and all that sort of stuff. Earth's core. There could be even stuff living inside the Earth's core or near the Earth's core, and they live off the chemicals and the heat produced from internal heat from the core. So yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, I did have an episode. What was it called? Arctic bear, wasn't it? Did you say? I think in my episode I called it something different. Can't remember what I called it now, but it was a mistake.
I know what you're talking about. I can't.
Yeah, Aliens Among Us was the episode I did. This one here. It's quite a good episode I did. I think it got a few votes on it. Aliens Among Us. I thought we were going to have a few guests on today talking, so me having to do the presentation again. So, yeah, who knows? You know, you see a bug fly around, it might actually be an alien vehicle, but it's so small that you'd pay no attention to it. It may be from another dimension, another universe, another planet. You never know. Or it might be from this planet Earth. So that's my thinking on this one. There it is. So straight up, straight away. Let's see, I think I corrected it. Mistake. I said water beetle, but it's a water bear. There you go. Found in the Arctic.
There you go.
Cubid saying, I can't stop itching now. Thanks for that. Yes, it's a good episode. I won't play it. I'll let you have a watch of it after the live stream. How many did actually vote on that? Need a few more votes on it. 13 to 1. One didn't like it. Must have been a Secure Team fan. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. So where were we? Electron. Atom. So there, they're claiming that is one atom there of strontium. Now, as you know, atom's got a shell of electrons spinning around, so you're not going to see them for starters. I really don't believe that's one atom. Anyway, we'll just carry on looking down further. So what's it say here? Should we try the English person this time? Let's see how he sounds.
The image was captured by physicist David Neidlinger from the University of Oxford, and it's been awarded the overall prize in the UK's Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council photo competition. To give you a little perspective on the size of this setup, the atom is being held in place by electric fields emanating from those two metal needles on either side of it. The distance between them is about 2 millimeters, 0.08 inch. The atom is being illuminated by a blue-violet laser. The energy from the laser causes the atom to emit photons which Neidlinger could capture on camera using a long exposure. The whole thing is housed inside an ultra-high vacuum chamber and dramatically cooled to keep the atom still. Neidlinger took this photo through the window of the vacuum chamber.
So they're saying that's needles. Well, we know how big a needle is, right? And they're saying there's 5 million atoms on a pinhead. So that would be a pinhead here, wouldn't it? So it's going to be probably 10,000 atoms or something, you know, if that's 5 million, and you take a chunk of it, it's going to still be probably a few million atoms still. I don't believe what they're saying here. I just wonder if there's any more articles out there about this one. Now, I did a live quite a few lives back now, which I was talking about the atom, how they were bouncing off electrons to see that it was actually a sphere. But they didn't talk about taking a photograph of it. But this guy's shining a laser beam at it. And if you have a look at his setup here, with the camera, is that a camera? What is it? A laser coming around here into the window.
I don't know.
I think, was that inside or? I think that's inside the vacuum chamber. What's it aiming at here? I'm just trying to figure out what it's aimed at. Just trying to see how it works in here. It looks like a real mess. And what's that meant to be there?
Well, it's in water, obviously. I can't tell.
I don't know what it is. Well, it's obviously in a vacuum. They said a vacuum chamber, and also would have to be cooled down. So that's the laser going this way, is it? And that must be where it's been filmed.
Is that being suspended?
Yeah, it looks like something coming down here. Something there too. But yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this experiment. It looks pretty do it yourself. And what have we got here? In the kitchen, far, far away, the fluid instability patterns on top of a soap bubble by Li Shun, Imperial College of London. So, yeah, obviously reflecting laser beam. What kind of laser beam? I don't know. Does look like it's color. Is it artificial color or is it real color though? Microbowls. Microbowls could help find stubborn cancers. So a microbowl. There we go. Whatever that is. Building blocks for a lighter future. So, yeah, I'm not too sure what they're trying to tell us there. Let's have a look at microbowls. Biodegradable microbowls. Something new there that I haven't heard of. Obviously, they put chemicals in it and shoot it into a cell, is it? Time is flying. It's past 1 hour already. I think I've only been talking for 10 minutes. But yeah, I really haven't really got that much to talk about, I didn't think, but it looks like it adds up. So, microbowls, laboratory news. Is it doing something? It's very slow. I suppose isn't that fine writing, is it? See if we can get it read out.
Biodegradable microbowls by Theo Sanders 2 from the University of Oxford. Many tumors lack an extensive network of blood vessels, making it difficult for anti-tumor drugs to reach their deeper regions. However, if bowl-shaped particles are injected with the drug, gas can be trapped in the particle-less cavity. If ultrasound is then applied, the trapped gas will oscillate, causing the surrounding fluid to be moved rapidly and be forced into the tumor, carrying the drug along with it, allowing the drug to penetrate further into the tumor.
So there you go. They shoot it into the cancer cells, then vibrate it. Vibrate it externally, and basically shatters it, I guess, releasing the chemical where it needs to go, rather than harm regular cells, I guess. So it's targeted. So when was that one published? Can't see a date stamp. Right, it's November last year, so it's not too long ago. So it must be something new. So to me, that looks like an electron microscope rather than a laser or using real light. And it's been artificially colored. That's what it looks like there to me. And this one here, I'm not too sure about. And this one up here, I'm really highly suspect of. So if we type in, can you see an atom with regular laser light? Okay. Are there any microscopes that can see atoms? Oh, okay. Probably get that same article, probably. Let's see what these guys have to say about it. No, obviously, they're not always right. Grad student in physics. Most of the answers here suggest that you can't see atoms with light, but that's not completely true. It is true for atoms in a lattice where the space in it is too small, such as a crystal, and you can hit the diffraction limit. This turns out that you can create systems to trap atoms far away from each other in regular lattice and build a microscope to image them. This is done using so-called optical lattices, standing waves of light formed by lasers where the regions of minimum or maximum, depending on the frequency density, can form wells in which you can drop atoms. This is most easily done for alkali metal atoms for a variety of reasons. Then you shine another laser on the atoms, which induces for. So they're talking about atoms here, which is more than one. So basically means the atoms absorb photons from the laser and emit them in all directions. So there you go. It's not actually bouncing off, it's absorbing and then absorbs photons that the laser and emit them in all directions. Probably bounces as well. As you know, if you excite certain atoms, they emit a electron as well as photons. That's how they can see what's out in space there, know what the spectrum analysis is. We talked about that in previous lives. So here's pictures of light bouncing back off the atoms, they reckon. 5 micromillimeters. Are there individual atoms there? You can see that it looks a wee bit like looking at one of these low res, or looking at the very pixels of a photo. No, it's not very good. 640 nanometers. So that's the question. How wide is that? Yeah, how wide is an atom? That's probably what we need to put in there. How wide is what type of atoms did they say were? Metal. Alloy atom. What nanometers, or what is it nano? Micro. How's it going? I thought micro was smaller than nano, but maybe not. Let's put that in too.
That's a good question. I don't know.
There's nano, micro. I think a nano is smaller because they use it on SD cards, isn't it? You call the very small one nano now, don't you? And the next size up micro, and then the next one you just call it a standard SD card. But let's see what the specification is. Pico is the smallest. Nano is the next one. Micro is 10 to the negative 6. So what's that? 10 million. And the next one is 10 billion. And the smallest one is 10 trillion. And then you got millimeter. Millimeter, micrometer, nano, and pico. There you go. So we learned something new, which is cool. So we want to know in nano meter. Here we go. Study of structures that are between 1 and 100 nanometers in size. So what's it say here? A nanoparticle is compared to a zinc atom. Okay, let's have a look at what that's talking about. Oh, we lost a sub. Oh well. Any pictures here? Atoms and small molecules, 0.1 of a nanometer. So what's that? 100 picos or something. Fine particles, thickness of paper, 100 nanometers. So that's what they're saying here. Small atoms. So that's saying there's 10,000 atoms thick as a slice of paper. So what it's saying? Let's see.
That's what
100,000 nanometers is the thickness of a paper. Sorry, I thought that was a full stop. It's a comma. So 0.1. That means you drop off 1 0, doesn't it? So that means there's 10,000 atoms thick as a sheet of paper. So that's pretty small, isn't it? A sheet of paper edge. So we're looking at 10,000 atoms vertically in a molecule. So there we go. And what were they saying on the article? 640 nanometers, which can't be a single atom then, can it? Because they're saying it's 0.1 up here. 0.1 is an atom. So that's kind of misleading. So if that's on the photograph here is, it's going to be 64 atoms big, that one. 0.1 is a atom. So there you go. So what they're saying here, wavelength of light means that things start getting fuzzy about 2,000 times magnification. I remember seeing a picture of titanium atoms around 1970, small balls packed together and a pattern on a tip of a specially sharpened needle. So they're talking about small balls on the tip of a needle. So how many balls would that be? You know, millions? Since then we have atomic force microscopes that can go beyond that, and instead of relying on looking at something, they are like a probe going over something so we know what shape it is. Yeah, because they bounce other particles of it and make a computer image of it. That has not only been done in great detail over the surface of atoms, but even in electrons, so we know that that they are almost perfect spheres. So I've covered that before as well. Let's see, we've got some pictures, have we? What's this one saying? From my recent publications of hydrogen treated titanium dioxide nanoparticle. So that's figure E. This one. Figure E. Image of a hydrogen treated dioxide nanoparticle. What's that mean? Treated titanium dioxide. Does that mean it's a single atom or a group of atoms? So it's saying here it's 5 nanometers, and they said the atom was 0.1. So that's still going to be more than one atom in that picture there. And you can see it doesn't look like normal light, it's black and white. They're using lasers, was it, on that one? And we can see the resulting structure at atomic resolution, but you can also see the vibration of grayscale and distinct patterns. So the whole thing's just a blur, is what they're saying, is it? Yeah. So that's an electron shower on the outside. It's bouncing off the image particles. I don't know. So
you're delving into a subject I know nothing about.
Well, I know nothing about, but I'm just trying to learn and figure out what they're saying.
Right. Well, works for me.
Yep. Heighted tritium titanium dioxide. Well, dioxide, obviously, it's got to be more than one atom, isn't it? Titanium with dioxide means it's got two oxygen atoms attached to it. Hydrogen means it's obviously got hydrogen also attached to it. So it's titanium, hydrogen, and oxygen. So we got a look like. Let's see what it looks like, so we can see what we're talking about. So to me, look, it must be a group of 4 or 5 atoms in that last picture, and the cloud is all the electrons bouncing off. Yeah, that image of that first one where the claimant is a single atom, I have my doubts. But I did ask my mate, the skeptic scientist, and he had this to say in an email. Hi, all I see is the blue white dot the size of 100 million atoms, 10 to the 13 atoms, and a pencil dot. So we looked at that before. Yep. I don't see the laser beam. That dot is equivalent to a supernova of atoms. If the information supplied is actual, is that all of it? Actually true? They are supplying so much energy to the atom that it emits all the light at the same time. They're saying that the atom, oh God, is supercooled to stop at vibration, which is probably impossible. Stop at vibrating. But it's also in a vacuum, didn't they say? A vacuum tube. So I'm inclined to say it's a constellation of bollocks. So yeah. Oh yeah, of course I forgot to show you that the full movie is available to watch on Stanton Freeman here, which I was going to post down the side. Just as well, opened it up, so it reminded me. So that's the movie on Stanton's bio, where I got those pictures from earlier. So it's in the chat now. So yeah, I can't even understand what half the things he says. So that's why I always ask him what he thinks, because I want to see if it matches what I think. And yeah, he's pretty deep into it, into the science of it, and calls Big Bang a load of bollocks, and he calls it creation science. And a lot of our science sort of comes off it, like isotopes and all that, you know, decay rate and all that is all based on the Big Bang from the start of creation. And he says it's going to be wrong. So you can't actually look for alien isotopes because the Big Bang's wrong, and the isotope theory on decay rates and all that, it has to be wrong as well. So he has a good point. So shame I can't get him to come on and give a talk about stuff, or we can ask him questions about stuff. We'll put him on the spot.
That would be nice.
Put him on the spot. But he won't come on. He won't come on. He doesn't like social media. He obviously gets attacked by a lot of the physics guys out there that don't see it his way. So yeah, it's like that on the science community as well as the UFO community, where there's a lot of infighting going on. So yeah, just move on. But it's all fun, and we all learn from it. And I think eventually they discover things by pure accident when they try to look for something, and then they get another result that comes off where they discover something new. That's happened throughout science. Like was it Marie Curie, whatever her name is, that discovered penicillin by. Was it her that did that one, or was it something else?
Penicillin was someone else.
Someone else. What was her thing? She discovered X-rays, wasn't it? I'm getting mixed up. Who was the one that discovered the penicillin? Then, do you know?
Right there. It's right. I can see the name, but I can't grab it.
I'll probably have to Google it again, only. But yeah, it was discovered by mistake. They lit the ajar. What they use in this sort of jelly that sort of leaven that they put bacteria on, and it helps the bacteria multiply and all that. What they call that? A petri dish. Petri? Is it petri?
A petri dish.
Where'd I get ajar from? But I was just trying to find a picture of this titanium. TiO2. There you go. Black for solar system hydrogen conversion. So it's a collection of atoms here. Anyway, that's what they're saying.
Okay. So Alexander Fleming, a Scottish physician, microbiologist, and pharmacologist. He discovered
Okay. Really, Fleming, was it? Now, Scottish people actually did do quite a lot of inventing in science, didn't they? So, it's like the Egyptian airship one I did. One of the episodes I often bring up. He invented that you could drip water between into buckets. One's got a zinc rod on it and one's got a copper rod on it, and it actually produces a voltage just by dripping water.
Really?
So he could produce electricity without using a generator. So that's what I present in my airship documentary, saying, well, if this guy figured it out and Egyptians had access to zinc and copper and lots of other mines they were digging up stuff, could easier stumbled across other types of metals and found, and of course they use water as well for lots of things. They could easier stumbled across that it produced a static voltage, zapped them, gave them a shock. So so they could easier had water flowing through the pyramid as using it as like a collector of gas. It's like a big gas container, and just they had an underground stream in the under the pyramid there, the Great Pyramid. They always wondered why there was a walkway that went right down underneath the pyramid to where this water pool is, and they may have had a flowing stream there at one stage, or probably instead of a trickle, and they could have been it could have been running through a metal system that they could have pumped it up. They could have hand pumped it upwards into the pyramid, because there was obviously something missing inside the pyramid. It was stripped clean. The people that built the pyramid weren't the Egyptians of today, I don't believe. I think they inherited it, and of course a lot of people would go in there, strip it bare, sell and melt down the metal. Whatever was inside is now gone. They would have melted down the gold stuff and copper stuff or whatever and sold it on to make money. Sold it
on eBay.
Yeah, and of course, I've always said that the Egyptians, if they wanted to keep their technology to themselves, they wouldn't have written it down. They certainly would have trained up a handful of engineers, and when one died, they train up another one, and so on, just and keep the knowledge within a selected few. So if they get invaded, and then they start shooting one engineer in the head, tell us how it works, bang. Tell us how it works, bang. Eventually, the guy loses his head and shoots the last engineer, so the information is lost forever. So I could see how it could go down. You see it on movies as well, where someone's got the code for entering into a bank, and the shoots one, then shoots the next one, and so hopefully someone breaks down, says, "I'll tell you everything." So yeah, moving on. So I was trying to find a picture of this particular atom that they're testing on that picture. But looks like it's actually a bunch of atoms, like here, over here. What's that? Solar charge, is it? What's that one there? Artificial photosynthesis. There you go. Artificial, huh? created a catalyst from these three elements: magnesium, phosphate, iron. There you go. And there's that titanium oxide nano rods. There you go. Glass, O2 to oxygen. Now how about that? Maybe that could be used for global warming control in the future. Or on space stations, just shine light and you get oxygen from water.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, what would you do with the hydrogen? Vent it off into space, or use it for rocket fuel? But you want to recycle it though, don't you? So yeah, not too sure how they do it. I suppose hydrogen, they could just grab it from a star as they're passing by, you know, a bit like Stargate. Do a scoop, get some hydrogen and helium, and then separate it into oxygen. I mean, join it onto oxygen to make water. So the question is, where does oxygen come from, though? That's another question, actually. How much oxygen? Space or universe, I suppose. It's out there. I reckon. Now we got some images. So here we go. Universe. Carbon. What's that mean? Well, the number one thing in the universe is hydrogen, is what they're saying there. Next one is helium. And the 8th one is oxygen. And the 6th one is carbon. Mass fraction. Oxygen. So what's that telling us? Oxygen's like 1% in the universe. Carbon.
Good question. Don't know.
0.5%. Is that how it works out there? Abundance of elements. Why is oxygen so abundant? Why is oxygen so abundant? I wouldn't say it was abundant. Even so, there's still about 10 times more hydrogen than helium in the universe. Oxygen, the third most common element, is about 1,000 times less abundant, which is basically what we set up here. So I guess the universe is big, you know, so 1% of a big universe is still quite a lot to us. I was looking for percentages though. Is oxygen rare in the universe? There we go, I got sidetracked again. I don't know. So does that mean
shiny in the corner?
So does that mean if you had a spaceship like a Connolly, a space Connolly, going through space, collecting elements, that they better scoop up enough oxygen that they wouldn't need so many plants on board for producing oxygen? I think basically they're saying that they're using fungus, aren't they? They'd have like a fungus which they can eat as well, and it multiplies. Obviously, it takes in carbon from the air that we breathe out.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens.
But why do we breathe out CO2? We must expel. I'm just wondering how it works in our body. We breathe in oxygen, then we expel CO2. Or is it just get concentrated? Or is it already in the air at the time? So I don't know enough about bioscience of humans. So yeah, this one didn't have percentage, did it? Here we go. Carbon is the 4th with just under 5%. That's what I said, wasn't it? 5%. So it must be. Where's oxygen in that list? It's just over 1% of visible matter in the universe is oxygen. That's what I said, wasn't it? 1% and 0.5%. So I got it right. Hey, my brain's not totally gone. Okay, so titanium. Why do humans expel expel? Oh, that can't be right, can it? Expel. Oh, no.
Why do humans breathe so damn much?
Who's breathing?
No.
You can hear me breathing, did you say?
No.
All right.
Why do humans have to breathe all the time? Dang it.
Well, why do we have to kill things and to eat to live? You know, why can't we just suck the sun energy like plants do and simply just grow that way? Absorb oxygen and carbon from the air. So carbon,
cool.
carbon is a building block. So yeah, expel CO2. To rid the body of carbon dioxide, but where does it come from? Obviously, it's got to be from the stuff we eat, right? A waste product of gas exchange in human. But where's it coming from, though? The air brought into the body through inhalation. Okay, let's have a read of that one. Well, let's get it to read out.
Not me. I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm not into that sort of side of science myself. I was never into biological science.
Right.
Is he going to read it?
Exhalation or expiration is the flow of the breath out of an organism. In humans, it is the movement of air from the lungs out of the airways to the external environment during breathing. This happens due to elastic properties of the lungs, as well as the internal intercostal muscles, which lower the rib cage and decrease thoracic volume. As the thoracic diaphragm relaxes during exhalation, it causes the tissue it has depressed to rise superiorly and put pressure on the lungs to expel the air. During forced exhalation, as when blowing out a candle, expiratory muscles, including the abdominal muscles and internal intercostal muscles, generate abdominal and thoracic pressure, which forces air out of the lungs. Exhaled air is rich in carbon dioxide, a waste product of cellular respiration during the production of energy, which is stored as air. Exhalation has a complementary relationship to inhalation, which together make up the respiratory cycle of a brain.
So the key part there was carbon dioxide.
Right.
Talking about energy waste.
Oh, right.
Exhaled and rich carbon dioxide, a waste product of cellular reproduction during the production of energy. So sugar is carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, isn't it? The three elements. So the body breaks. Yeah. Gets more and more complicated, doesn't it? So let's see. Let's have a look at this one here. Oh, Jesus. Carbon, citric acid cycle in mitochondria. Hey, what?
Mitochondria. Silly.
Typical something rubber cell. Eukaryotic cell, or whatever it is. Okay, not sure if I can read that small chart. Set of metabolic reactions and processes that take in cells of organisms to convert biochemical engineer from nutrients into the oh god, what's that one? Tryptosate, adenosine
triphosphate.
This is why I didn't want to be a doctor. There's too many tricky words.
Yeah.
The reactions involved in respiration are catabolic reactions, okay, which break down large molecules into smaller ones, releasing energy in the process as weak so-called. So that's like nuclear reaction. So we eat animal, which is carbon-based. It's got iron and enough stuff connected together into molecules, and we break it down. So obviously the carbon is a building block. So we grow, don't we? We grow bigger and bigger, same as trees or wood as carbon. So they grow bigger and bigger. So that's where they get the energy from. They get the water to also convert that process. Will help with the process. Well, water is, as you know, got chemical charge in it. I mean, electrical charge, not chemical charge. High energy bonds are replaced by stronger bonds in the products, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it just goes on and on. Fatty acids, amino acids, oxygen. So what's it say here? Common oxidized agent as electron acceptor is molecular oxygen O2. The chemical energy stored in ATP is the third phosphate group is weakly bonded to the rest of the molecule and is cheaply broken away. Stronger bonds form. Therefore, transferring energy for use by the cell then can be used to drive processes requiring energy, including biosynthesis, locomotion, or transportation of molecules and membranes. We're a complex being. We're not one organism, we're one of many. We've got millions of bacteria and they're helping with all this process. As you know, if you ain't got your bacterial levels right, you get really sick. So what was the other thing I had listed here? It's not going to get too in-depth. Combustion reaction. There was a key word here that I wanted to click on. Can't see it now. I wanted to find out more about it. Carbolic, was it? Here we go. Here we go, here we go. What's this looking at? Acid, oxidative, phosphate. Looks really complicated. Well, you got to remember DNA is what, 4 acids? DNA, which is G, A, C, and T, I think they call it. So, yeah. Set are metabolic pathways that break down molecules into smaller units that are either oxidized or released energy or used in other embolic reactions. All right, so there you go.
Next.
Complicated stuff. Next subject, you reckon?
Biochemistry.
I think we're done with the atom now, aren't we? Hey, I didn't even know I was going to go into that subject myself. But one thing, you ask a question, how much oxygen in the universe, and next thing you're talking about, why do we expel CO2? So plants and humans complement each other, and because plants need the carbon dioxide, they remove the carbon from it and release the oxygen because they don't want that. And they use the carbon, which is basically wood, and that forms its leaves or bark or whatever, cell structure. And that's why you get rings as well, growth rings as well in trees, because obviously they have, well, in summer they grow, and probably in winter they sort of hibernate a wee bit. Must be that. Well, actually, you can probably look that up. Why do trees have rings? Let's see if it comes up. Here we go. Tree rings grow under the bark. The bark is pushed out while the tree is growing. The inner part of the growth ring is formed early in the growing season when growth is fast and is known as early wood. The outer portion is the late wood and is denser than the early wood. Oh, well, yes, that didn't really help much, did it?
Not unless you're shopping for wood at Home Depot.
But apparently each ring is a year in a tree, so you can work out how old it is, 100 years or whatever. Why do trees have rings? That might be one to have a look at.
I think the darker color means more rain that year or something.
Yeah, I suppose there's people studying all this stuff all the time. While walking in the woods with my friend, we stumbled upon some old tree stumps. So many rings we had to use our magnifying glass to see them. It's a timeline. I thought it might make a nice scratch post. There was actually a single ring added each year because of the transition between the growth of the previous new growth, he said. He pointed out the growth rings were different colors. Some were lighter, some were darker. The differences tell us how the tree grew throughout its life. Scientists in Washington help plants, Christmas trees, stay healthy. Some trees actually don't appear to have rings at all. I'll just zoom out a bit. Other trees will grow thousands of rings, really, if they live long. So it's not a year then? Is that what they're saying? In the redwood forest, California, some trees have growth so wide would take 25 kids holding hands in a circle. In fact, some people have found redwood stumps with more than 3,000 rings. They could be like 3,000 years old, could they? I suppose they could be.
Hard to say. So
there's
those
one
trees are old.
Part of the tree that forms these rings each year, and in some species, I didn't know that. That's why we do things on the fly here. Why is it not zoomed out? Kind of strange. I'll just check that it's working properly. There we go. We're back to normal. So we got up to 5 watching there. We must have scared them off. So what's that got to do with UFOs? Well, probably nothing, but it's all relative, isn't it? All internets. How we get through space and all that sort of stuff. And how would you build a livable spaceship and all that sort of business? So obviously people are studying all this. They've got to all use the information that we find out. So this is the other thing here. Single photon reveals quantum entanglement of 16 million atoms. Whatever that means. 16 million atoms are transposing themselves in another part of the universe. I don't know. Let's see. Researchers have demonstrated entanglement between 16 million atoms and a crystal crossed by a single photon. Confirmed the theory behind the quantum networks of the future. This was back in end of 2017. Quantum theory predicts that a vast number of atoms can be entangled and intertwined by a very strong quantum relationship, even in a macroscopic structure. Until now, experimental evidence has been mostly lacking. Despite recent advances have shown the entanglement of 2,900 atoms, scientists recently re-engineered the data process and demonstrated that 16 million atoms were entangled into 1 centimeter crystal. So there you go. Are they delusional? Are they making mistakes? Who knows? So we've got to keep asking questions. This is partial view of the source producing the single photons. So obviously they're using green laser passing through a crystal of some sort. They were stored in a quantum memory to produce entanglement between many atoms inside the memory. So obviously this is to do with quantum computers. The theory is unequivocal. It predicts that the vast number of atoms can be entangled and intertwined by a strong quantum relationship. Till now, blah blah. I think we just read all that. Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland. Let's see. Law of quantum physics allows to emit signals and immediately detect when they are intercepted by a third party. This property is crucial for data protection, especially in the encryption industry, which can now guarantee that customers will be aware of any interception of their messages. Now, these signals also need to be able to travel long distances using some rather special relay device known as a quantum repeater. Crystals whose atoms are entangled and unified by a very strong quantum relationship. When a photon penetrates the small crystal block enriched with rare earth atoms and cooled to 270 degrees below zero, barely 3 degrees above absolute zero, entanglement is created between the billions of atoms it traverses. This explicitly predicts the theory and is exactly what happens as the crystal fulfills its function and re-emits without reading the information it has received in the form of a single photon. Sounds to me like they're talking about fiber optics to me. Sending light down and the crystals somehow amplify it and resend it on. Yeah, sometimes it's really hard to wrap your head around all this quantum stuff. So they might be thinking that it's validated the theory, but it might actually be that something else is happening that they don't understand, which also predicts what's going to happen. So yeah, quantum entanglement is how you transmit data from one end of the universe to the other theory, how you would travel space is using wormholes is the same sort of idea, really, isn't it? Where you're transmitting physical matter faster through space from one location to another. Right. So you're reducing the time. Well, they keep talking about space-time and all that sort of stuff, but we won't get back into that. So, yeah, if anyone wants to read the article, I'll post it down the side. Of course, a lot of science theories retract later, saying, oh, they were wrong and misinterpreted what they were seeing. So this might be something that happens in the future. Quantum computers, we'll get onto that next. So, entanglement. It's like a buzzword in the UFO community. All these things, though. Entangle, space-time entanglements. How ETs can read our minds or influence us. Are you still there, John?
I'm here.
You're here. So, do we go on to quantum computer subject now or not? Let's see how we got 1 hour left. Or we got anyone that wants to come on, talk about Roswell or Stanton Freeman? Here's your opportunity. So, I was looking at MetaMaterials and the materials that they're looking at. Obviously, to use it for military purposes, obviously, that $1 trillion that the US funds every year is split out by someone that goes to universities, obviously, like MIT, to research what they want people to research on. So one of these will be shape memory alloy. So what is a shape memory alloy? I'll just get it to read out while I have a drink. I'll go to the American Voice this time.
A shape memory alloy is an alloy that can be deformed when cold but returns to its pre-deformed, remembered, shape when heated. It may also be called memory metal, memory alloy, smart metal, smart alloy, or muscle wire. Citation needed parts made of shape memory alloys can be lightweight, solid-state alternatives to conventional actuators such as hydraulic, pneumatic, and motor-based systems. They can also be used to make hermetic joints in metal tubing.
Okay, there you go. Have we got any pictures of it? I wonder.
What
So
happened to our British pal?
Eh? You like the British guy better, don't you? You like having
that American was awful.
Okay, so if we read that bit of the UK one, you just don't like the American voice, you just like other accents.
The two most prevalent shape memory alloys are copper aluminium nickel and nickel titanium alloys, but SMEs can also be created by alloying zinc, copper, gold and iron. Although iron-based and copper-based SMEs, such as FEMNC, KZN and KLNI, are commercially available and cheaper than Ti-based SMEs are preferable for most applications due to their stability, practicability, 1, 2, 3, and superior thermomechanic performance. 4 SMEs can exist in 2 different phases, with 3 different crystal structures, that is twin martensit, detwinned martensit and austenite, and 6 possible transformations.
So did you get any of that? It's kind of a bit strange. Even that machine was having trouble reading it. So what are iron-based and copper-based SMAs, smart metal alloys, that's short for, so they call them SMAs. So basically, it's like a spring. If you've stretched out a spring, so it's lost, you pull it and it stretches out, and then it let go. It doesn't spring back until you heat it up again, and then it forms its shape again. So I suppose that's what they're talking about there. So what would you use them for? Memory metals. Memory effect is the cold state below 4 AS, whatever it is. Metal can be bent or stretched and will hold these shapes until heat above the transition temperature. Upon heating, the shape changes to its original. When the metal cools again, it will remain in this. So why would you use that though? Nanotechnology. Like if you heat up a spring, does the spring then expand and then push it along, and then cool it down, then the spring contracts and it moves the leg back in? Maybe it's using it at that sort of nano level. And so you have like a crawling nano machine that crawls along inside your cell or body or on the skin. Two-way memory effect. So it's got a two-way one here. Remember, it's 2 different shapes. So that's interesting. One at a low temperature and one at a high temperature. The material that shows a shape memory effect during both heating and cooling is said to have two-way shape memory. This can also be obtained without the application of an external force effect. The reason that the material behaves so differently in these situations lies in training. Training implies that the shape memory can learn to behave in a certain way. Under normal circumstances, a shape memory alloy remembers its low temperature shape, but upon heating to recover the high temperature shape, immediately forgets the low temperature shape. However, it can be trained to remember to leave some reminders of the deformed low temperature condition in the high temperature. So here we go, we got super elasticity. SCCs also display super elasticity, which is characterized by the recovery of relatively large strains with some dispensation in addition to temperature-induced phase transformers. So there you go. History. First reported steps towards the discovery of the shape memory effect was taken in the 1930s. So it's been played around with for a while.
80
Nickel,
years. Well,
nickel, titanium. So they used titanium quite a lot, don't they? Alloys were first developed in 1962. Crystal structures. Many metals have several different crystal structures. As you remember, all metals are crystals, which is kind of interesting. They're not clear, obviously. They're the same composition, but most metals do not show this shape memory effect, the special property that allows shape memory alloys to revert to the original shape. Crystal transformation is fully reversible. In most crystal transformers, the atoms in the structure will travel through the metal by diffusion, changing the composition locally, even though the metal as a whole is made of the same atoms. So there you go. Crystals. Properties. Response time. Goes on a bit, doesn't it? Fatigue. Industry. Aircraft and spacecraft. Here you go. Boeing, General Electric, Goldrich Corporation, NASA, Texas A&M University, and Nippon Airways developed the variable geometry chevron. Variable geometry chevron. Was it? Hang on, my eyes are not functioning at the moment. My left eye is really blurry. Okay, why is it not reading it?
Variable geometry chevron.
Geometry chevron, it should be. Such variable areas fan nozzle design, which will allow for quieter and more efficient jet engines in the future. So basically they're saying if they heat up the metal used in the fan part, you can change the shape of it slightly. I'm not too sure how that works though. I suppose that changes the aerodynamics of the fin.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Makes the noise higher pitch so you don't hear it. Vibration dampeners for launch vehicles and commercial jet engines. I'm pretty sure it's going to be used in a lot more things than that, right? Say if you had it on the skin of a plane, right, or spaceship, and it gets hit by a micrometeorite, it's going to leave a little dent. You want the memory to be able to remember what the shape was, because you ain't going to have panel beaters in space, are you? So, like if you crashed your car and dented it, you want to be able to somehow heat up the car, and then it pops out. The dent just vanishes and it comes back, and probably just re-spray the car again. But you probably want flexible, also paint, so it doesn't sort of scratch, it sort of bends. But I don't know. Yeah, it's quite an interesting idea. All right, it talks about automobile down here. Let's see. The first high volume product, 5. Let's see. I'll get it to read out. I've only got one eye that's sort
The
of working.
first high-volume product, greater than 5 MIO actuators/year, is an automotive valve used to control low-pressure pneumatic bladders in a car seat that adjust the contour of the lumbar support/bolsters. The overall benefits of SMA over traditionally used solenoids in this application: low noise/emk/weight/form factor/power consumption were the crucial factor in the decision to replace the old standard technology with SMA.
So there you go.
On the slasher.
/volume/weight. Yeah, I'm just adjusting myself because I hurt my arm because the pillow's moved. Okay, robotics. What's it saying here? So it's used in a lot of things, but looks what.
There have also been limited studies on using these materials in robotics. For example, the hobbyist robot Stakito and Robota Fraulara 27, as they make it possible to create very lightweight robots. Recently, a prosthetic hand was introduced by Electron that can almost replicate the motions of a human hand of 2005. Other biomimetic applications are also being explored. Weak points of the technology are energy inefficiency, slow response times, and large stresses.
So moving joints, bio-robotic hands, civil structures, bridges maybe. What's that? Bridges? Yep. Bridges and buildings.
Yeah.
Piping. So a bridge obviously heats up, doesn't it? You know, in summer, it gets quite hot.
Right.
So you want it to snap back or not lose its strength when it expands as well. Piping, shape metal coupling for piping. Oil lines for industry. Obviously, it's been funded by oil companies' money into the universities to research it. Telecommunications. The second high volume application was autofocus activator for smartphone. There you go. You remember that we're talking about the autofocus UFO dots you get.
Right.
So obviously it expands when the light hits it and heats up. There are currently several companies working on optical image stabilization module driven by wires made from SMAs, smart metal alloys. Okay, medicine, nano machines, I guess. Fixation devices for osteomosis. I'm not going to bother reading that. Dental braces. Okay. Engines. So it's used quite a lot. There's all the different variations. Okay. So that one turned out to be a big read, didn't it?
Pretty much.
So I've talked about this one before, probably 40 live streams back. Scientists discover a new type of self-healing material, and these are before and after. Damaged in air, healed after 5 minutes. So I'll just zoom in.
Wow.
So they need that for glass windows of cars, so it doesn't cost you an arm or leg when you get a crack or stone chip. Obviously, they won't be too happy with that because the glass people make a lot of money out of that, insurance claims and all that. So what's it say? Or I'll just read it out.
A research group from Riken and Kyushu University has developed a new type of material based on ethylene, which exhibits a number of useful properties such as self-healing and shape memory. Remarkably, Some of the materials can spontaneously self-heal even in water or acidic and alkali solutions. The new material is based on ethylene, a compound that is the source of much of the plastic in use today.
So, if it self-heals, it's got to get the material to rebuild it. So if you scratch it, right, from a stone,
Right.
then it's got to get that material to repair itself from somewhere. It's sort of got to grow back like a cell. So obviously, they talked about water solution there. So obviously, from water, maybe it's got some carbon added to it or something. So it's not instant self-heal. Only when you put it into liquid, by the sounds of it at the moment. But there's another article I've got here which talks about taking carbon from air. So that's again like plants. You know, they absorb it in and they repair themselves. You know, like if they get a wound or branch cut off, they grow another one. So materials that can self-heal. So I'll just read that bit too.
Materials that can self-heal have become a popular area of research during the last decade, and a variety of materials have been developed. However, most of the self-healing materials reported to date have relied on sophisticated designs that incorporate chemical mechanisms into polymer networks, such as irreversible or reversible covalent bond formation, hydrogen bonding, metal ligand interactions, or ionic interactions. As a result, they require some external stimulus, such as heat or pressure, to prompt them to heal, and in most cases, they do not function in water, acid or alkaline solutions because the chemical networks cannot survive such conditions. The ideal is to create a material that possesses sufficient toughness and can autonomously self-heal under various conditions.
So water. So when they talk about liquid, they're not actually talking about water then. So they've still got some research to do on that, obviously, to make it more tougher, as they say, tougher to acid and oxidization, obviously, and all that sort of stuff. Same as we're built tough. They say we age because of oxidization. So you know, you got people that eat only 1/3 of their daily calories. They've actually proven they actually live longer because they got less radicals, as they call it, well, oxygen that damages things. But also now they reckon they can turn off the aging thing. They reckon that we're sort of programmed in our DNA to only live certain duration, which kind of makes you think maybe we are designed by aliens. They've designed a lifespan, that maximum lifespan that we're meant to be able to live. But in the old days, wasn't the lifespan like 30 years old? And that was classed as being old to be lived to 30. And because of improvement in health and living conditions and medicines, that's now up to 80, probably the average lifespan now, is it? For
anymore? Yeah, sounds about right.
And of course, men die more often sooner than females because they're under more pressure out there earning money or whatever, or doing hard jobs or whatever, hunting and all that sort of stuff, which probably puts more strain on the heart. But of course, everyone would debate that now. You know, that they reckon child raising is stressful and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, but in stats wise, I think there's a certain gap. It's not equal. Let's see, lifespan of men versus females. See what they say on the web here. What's it say here? Worldwide, the average lifespan at birth was 71.5 years, 60 years and 4 months for males, and 72 years and 8 months for females. So overall period 2010 to 2015, according to United Nations World Population. So there you go. Revision of or 69 years, 67 years for males and 71 years for females. So they live a wee bit longer, they're saying. Life expectancy of a woman in 2018. It's now up to 80 years for males and 84 years for females. So when was that one? In 4 years, it's gone from the average being 69 to 80. That's quite a big jump. No, yeah. Was that males? Yeah, gone from 69 for males to 80. So there you go. So you can argue all you want. I suppose if you got all these different sites that doing surveys all come up with the same thing. There's plenty of things here that all say the same. You can't debate it really. Here you go. It's a table per country even, or actually states.
Wow.
76, 72. So of course that again would be background radiation and stuff that would affect lifespan as well. They reckon you live longer if you are in a higher background radiation than not, because it turns on your immune system. So I'm not too sure about Arizona, but I'm not sure if it's got a higher background radiation. I suppose with all that nuclear testing, it probably has. But you might live longer, John. So there you go. Colorado, 77. 78. I'd be interested to know what the lowest state is, though. We have to go through it all. 79. Is it in order? I don't think it is. 72, I think I saw, was the lowest. 72 point Virginia. Texas, 76. That's all those they eat the biggest red meat eaters, isn't it? Texas, so the big steaks.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Well, I don't know. 76 is not too bad of an age, but me, I'm coming close to the age, so we're dying quick now. Once you get over 50, it's downhill. Okay, so 72 here, Louisiana. That's quite interesting. And the females, you can see, always higher, depending on what state it is. From what I can see here, it's always higher.
Yep.
Quite interesting. I might just paste that link there. It was this one. What's it called? Henry something rather. Family Foundation. Lifespan. We've done pretty good, really, on these topics. So now we're talking about extending lifespan. I wanted to have a look at that, as I mentioned it already.
That's good.
Extending lifespan reality. Oh, I should put lifespan in. Live forever. Scientists say they've extended life well beyond 120. There you go. So what year was this report? I can't see a year on it. What's that say? 4 years ago? 4 years ago. So let's have a read of that one.
Yes. Yep.
They've got a capital I though.
In Palo Alto, in the heart of Silicon Valley, hedge fund manager June Nyan is doing a back-of-the-envelope calculation. According to US Social Security data, he says, the probability of a 25-year-old dying before their 26th birthday is 0.1%. If we could keep that risk constant throughout life instead of it rising due to age-related disease, the average person would, statistically speaking, live 1,000 years. Ian finds the prospect tantalizing and even believable. Late last year, he launched a $1 million prize challenging scientists to hack the code of life and push human lifespan past its apparent maximum of about 120 years. The longest known / confirmed lifespan was 122 years.
So they got life wrong, live, and that's the problem with English. It's a complex language, really. Live, life, it's the same word. What was the other one? Live or something. What did it say here?
Read.
He read out life wrong or something. It read out something here wrong. It sounded really funny. Let's see.
Ian believes it is possible to solve aging and get people to live healthily, more or less indefinitely. His Palo Alto Longevity Prize, which 15 scientific teams have so far entered, will be awarded in the first instance for restoring vitality and extending lifespan in mice by 50%. But Ian has deep pockets and expects to put up more money for progressively greater feats. He says this is a moral rather than personal quest. Our lives and society are troubled by growing numbers of loved ones lost to age-related disease and suffering extended periods of decrepitude, which is costing economies. Ian has an impressive list of nearly 50 advisors, including scientists from some of America's top universities.
I think it was reading lifespan out wrong. It sounded funny. Let's see if I can get that one said again. It's entertaining, this reader. I'm not the only one that trips over the tongue. The computer does too.
Oh yeah.
Lifespan.
I do it all the time.
Lifespan. That sounds like a country.
Lifespan.
Welcome to Lifespan.
Lifespan. Not lifespan. So obviously the program artificial intelligence need to be tweaked a wee bit. Also I read they reckon forever, but 1,000 years I've heard before. End aging reality check. Could science really extend human lifespan? What's that one say? Education. Probably want to search to recent news, see what they've been doing recently. Because we know how bad the search results for Google is past year. Here we go. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Past month. David Sinclair extended human life 5 days ago. Oh, well, we'll have a look at that one. Obviously, this would be key also in space travel. So if you're on a spaceship, on a space colony, you want to also live longer. But some people, you don't want to live longer because it's pure evil. Could you imagine if Hitler lived 1,000 years? And stuff like that, yeah. Nothing matters except making the world better. Of course, more and more humans are being born every day. What's that counter that we found? World population counter. Let's just go, you can see it going up all the time. Which is the problem. Our planet's getting overcrowded, so we're going to have to go into space anyway, sooner than later, or start killing off people, which is basically what wars do. So maybe we'll never have peace, because there'll always be fighting over land and resources. Look for counter.
Count on it, yep.
I have posted it before. Here we go. World population clock live. There we go. And it's going up. Each person is being born.
Yikes.
You can see why that some talk about population control by releasing viruses like AIDS to kill off people. That's like conspiracy talk, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But you can break it down into counters. So I thought this one had a counter. Here we go. US spent on fair trade products going up all the time. Number of planet Earths we need, 1.7. To provide resources and absorb our, what's it saying? Waste. Tons of waste dump. Oh yeah. Quite a lot of tons of waste being dumped. Tons of resources extracted from Earth. Wow, that's going up. Tons a second. Was it 1,000 tons a second? Number of consumers. Whatever that means. Right now. Eaten. People eaten. Not sure what it means. It's got a little pop-out thing here.
People that buy things should be consumers.
If everybody lived like the average American, we would need 4.6 planets to support us. So how are you Americans living to us poor Kiwis? What are you doing different?
We're pigs. That's why.
It's all those damn pizzas you get to eat and KFC. It's not fair.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
we
Japanese
are
about 2.3 for Europeans. There was one that breaks it down to cities, so I guess this might break it down further here, maybe. Number of Earths we need. No, not that one. Number of consumers, world population, maybe. I don't think it was on that one, was it? That's what we started with. There's another one that breaks it down to countries. Let's see. World meters. Is it the same place? No, it's another one. I might have to leave the quantum computers, but because it's a bit in depth. Until next time, but I'll see if I can find out some more information on it. So bursts today. Here you go. Ticking over. Bursts this year. 45 million. How about that? That's just crazy. Deaths. Well, the deaths are not even exceeding the number of births, so you can see we've got a problem. Population, yeah, so it's grown by 26 million this year alone. That is a problem. And you got some countries or some religious people that think having 10, 12, 14 kids is a good thing. But could you imagine a woman bearing that many kids? What it must do to her body?
Oh, it's horrifying.
Yeah, so it's not really fair on the woman not to have, what do you call it? Using condoms and all that sort of stuff to stop pregnancy. Right. What's the word for it? Suffer contraception. Is that the one? So here we go. We got it broken down to countries here. So that one's a lot better here. So we'll just well, it's different. It doesn't talk about planets and all that sort of stuff and waste. It's got some other counters on it. Why is it not clicking? This world counter is pumping up the CPU on it. Is it? Wait, right click. I'll paste it in with the Tshirt key, right? I'm sure I copied it. Something going on here. We got that slowed down on the CPU for some reason. So it's,
I don't know why it would.
I think something kicked off in the background. I wonder what it is. I still haven't managed to pin it on the Windows. I thought I had. So we'll see anyway. Might be all this JavaScript here that's clocking it over. You can see all the numbers are sort of ceased. I'm not sure if that's real time or not though. Population by Did it get my typing? Going really slow, isn't it? It's like we've been sabotaged again. Weird. I'm not sure what's going on there, John. Here it comes.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know you're here, but
Well,
something's going strange here. Since I loaded this page, maybe it's some mining thing that's kicked off that's not being blocked. Yeah, it's definitely slowing down for some reason. So these counters are now kicked in. This page is CPU hungry, maybe. Don't know. So what's that one telling us? It's not scrolling now. So according to recent study, there are 2.1 trillion Christians, 31% of the world population. So we can send them off into space somewhere. Planet Venus. 50% are Catholic. And then we got 1.6 trillion Muslims. So that's 50% of our population needs to go into space. And then we have less wars. Both those two lots can go. 1.1 no religion affiliation. So that would be me and you, John, probably, and we'll be quite happy to be on the planet by ourselves. And 1 trillion, the overwhelming majority of which live in India. So 500 billion Buddhisms and other religions. And Jews are right down the bottom here. And it's got nice charts. So it's obviously loading all these charts, and I think it's slowing us down. What's going on though? It's pretty bad. I was trying to find.
I'd get out of there if I were you.
You reckon it's the spyware program by the government? So religion, Asia, Africa, Europe. Wow. Population of Asia, 1.5 billion. Africa, 1.2. Where's China? China. I suppose they link that into Asia, don't they? China would be in there. Most of the population of the planet is Asian, then, is what they're saying, is it? Africa, Europeans. Probably. Yeah, that looks like it. Europeans, Latin Americans. Wow, that's quite a good one. And Oceania, that would be New Zealand. We're only 5 million, so that must be Indonesia, Philippines, that sort of places, and Australia. So what's it say here? 8 billion by 2023, I reckon. That's crazy. That's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yes, it is.
Yearly change 1%. Previous milestones. 1804, 1 billion. 1930, 2 billion. Look how fast that went up. 100 years, doubled in size. And then 3 billion, 1950, 60. So in 30 years, it's 1 billion. So it's gone from 1 billion every 100 and so years to 30 years to another billion, 74. What's that? 14 years now. 1 billion in 14 years. And this one is, how many years is that one? Back to 12 years, is it? It's 13 years. 13 years for 1 billion people. So that's going to be 10 billion by 55. Wow. That's just crazy.
A lot of sex was going on then.
Yes, we got a problem in this world. We got to control that somehow. So what was he looking at? Life expandance. Co-founder of several biotechnology companies, David is also co-founder and co-chief editor of Journal Agent. See, fascinating. Okay, let's just have a read of that one.
According to David, the prospect of living to 200 plus is not a pipe dream, but a very possible reality. If humans could indeed double lifespan, how would this change how you live? And what does this mean for the future of humanity?
Lifespan. I love it.
This conversation travels deep into the scientific weeds. Perfect for the geeks among us. But it is also grounded in practical takeaways for all of us, because David's work isn't just about extending lifespan. It is about learning how to live as vibrantly and energetically as possible for as long as possible.
Well, can he fix my back pain? That's what I want to know. Okay. And all the other pains I have.
It is an honor and a privilege this brilliant man is pioneering work and wisdom with you today. Plus he is a lovely guy. If you enjoyed my episode with Dr. Walter Longo, RP number 367, a fellow brilliant warrior in the longevity space, then I am fairly confident you're going to love this one. So break out that pen and paper, because you're going to want to take notes on this one. I sincerely hope you enjoy the episode.
So obviously it goes to a YouTube one. This is the page to it, is it? So we probably can't play the episode. I suppose it's like a chat, is it? On a podcast or something. What else did we have? Anything there? Lifespan, extending life. Was it stop aging of cells? Chemical therapy. Company is developing small molecule drugs. Can anti-aging research. Okay, let's see what year that one is. I think I sorted it in the last month, didn't I? What's the date on it? This year, so that'll do. So let's see what it says here. Research in the fountain, I mean. What's this nonsense here? Set cookies. I don't mind cookies, but we call them biscuits in New Zealand. Oh no. Ad blogger. Stuff off your stupid pop-ups. It's all about the money.
Searching for the fountain of eternal youth has been the dream of humanity for millennia. While this is still in the realms of science fiction, anti-aging companies are hoping to tackle aging-related diseases by targeting the underlying biology. Many Silicon Valley leaders have big ambitions and investments in hunting immortality. However, many biotech companies in the anti-aging field have a more humble aim, helping us to stay healthy as we age. Age is a big risk factor for several common diseases, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, and dementia. By treating the aging process itself, the theory is that you could prevent multiple diseases in one go. Some lucky individuals, known as supercentenarians, experience few health problems until extreme old age, so this aim isn't as far-fetched as it seems.
Replacing old tissue with cell therapy. Okay, let's have a look at that one.
One fundamental aspect to aging is cell division. Many types of cells in the body are designed to die after a certain period of time, such as skin cells. As they are lost to everyday wear and tear, millions of these cells get replaced every day in a continuous cycle. However, as we age, these cells stop being able to reproduce. This process, called senescence, is believed to underlie the aging process in many tissues.
So that's a bit like Blade Runner, one of our favorite movies, where the replicants or clones want to go to the scientists to stop them dying at the age of, 30 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Good movie, anyway. Harrison Ford one. So how are we going for time? Got 15 minutes.
But there is a certain type of cells, known as pluripotent stem cells, that can theoretically divide forever. All of us are descendants of a lineage of cells that has lasted for billions of years, said Mike West, CEO of the company Agex Therapeutics. Agex develops stem cells as therapies for age-related diseases, such as cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. According to West, treating these diseases with regenerative cell therapy is akin to treating the aging process itself, like replacing old parts with new. A valid way of keeping cars on the road is replacing one of the components, he told me.
I thought for a minute they're saying Mike West.
Yeah.
So is there any other bits on here that looks interesting? I wonder why we're built in, though, for the cells to stop remembering, though. Does it sort of run out of certain chemical in the body or something? I suppose that's what they're trying to figure out, is it? Reproduced any longer. Most just becomes unable to reproduce any longer. Okay, let's have a read of that bit. So I'm trying to understand it. Might not be able to do it in this live, but we'll see.
When most cells become unable to reproduce any longer, they are zombies. Companies such as Barcelona-based Senulix are developing ways to slow the aging process by removing these zombie cells from tissues. When we were young, we get senescent cells constantly, Timothy Cash, so as Senulix told me. When we get a wound, senescent cells will form, but they will be removed after their job is done. When we get older, for some reason, senescent cells show up throughout the body, but they're not removed. The company is developing small molecule drugs that help to clear the zombie cells from tissues in age-related diseases such as idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Currently in the preclinical stage, Senulix is also developing these drugs for combination therapies in cancer.
So that's quite interesting then. So if I got it right, the zombie cells build up. Is that what it's saying there? Constantly, we get senescent cells constantly When we get a wound, cells will form. They will be removed from the job as done. But when we get older, for some reason, these cells show up throughout the body, but they're not removed for some reason. So they're saying these cells, if they build up too much, causes aging. Is that what they're saying? Or causes damages?
From what I'm getting, yeah.
I can't understand. Yeah. So let's have a look at that bit there.
Can't be that simple.
Anti-aging has recently begun attracting big investments, with giant companies getting involved. Google, for example, has poured money into the US biotech Calico to develop anti-aging treatments. The US company Unity Biotechnology includes the US Mayo Clinic and the CEO of Amazon amongst its investors. Investor interest in anti-aging has already plateaued, Cash said. I would say I can't see it getting any higher. I think it is at its peak now.
So you and Amazon and all the rich billionaires want anti-aging so they can live longer. What? So they can make more money or enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes, both, all above, all the above. Okay.
That said, targeting aging is currently difficult because it is not an official disease according to the EMA and FDA. Instead, companies are limited to targeting a specific age-related disease each time with these treatments. The American Federation for Aging Research aims to buck this trend with a planned clinical trial testing the effect of the approved diabetes drug metformin on multiple age-related conditions instead of just one.
Yes, I've heard that. They reckon if you take metformin, which I can't because it makes me go to the toilet all the time and makes me feel sick, especially in mornings, slows your aging down. So you're going to live longer if you take that, if you're diabetic.
I do take that. Yep.
Also, it's got a slimming agent in it, so it can help you lose weight or help you stop putting on weight. How's that going, by the way?
I've lost 138 pounds in 2.5 years.
Is that from taking metformin?
Metformin.
Is it?
Yep.
See, I come off it and I started putting weight on. Constantly putting weight on. I can't stop it. Insulin puts weight on. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
I'll be like that blob on Star Trek Discovery, the blobby thing. All liquid. So yeah, what's this? Cash Believers? What's that one? Cash believes.
Cash believes that it has time to change the public consciousness to accept the aging process as an official target for drug development. Maybe in the future, once we have motivated the FDA and EMA to start considering aging as an indication, then we can use these molecules that we've found for age-related diseases for aging in general, he explained. Another challenge could be the biotech industry's approach to finding anti-aging treatments. Companies are investing in each one of the hallmarks of aging. Let us have a horse in the race for every one of these hallmarks, and maybe one will work out, I've said. This model doesn't confront the fact that we don't know everything there is to know about aging.
So goes on a bit though. So let's read the sum up then.
Many of the anti-aging treatments in development are showing promise in animal models such as worms and mice. While encouraging, this raises a separate issue. These animals differ a lot from humans in the aging process. Any organizations or companies developing treatments have to endure the lengthy clinical testing process to prove that these treatments will make a difference in the aging process in humans. Until we can see concrete clinical proof of concept trials from the many anti-aging biotechs and researchers, we are best maintaining a critical eye. For now, at least, The best way to stay healthier for longer is to eat healthily and exercise regularly.
No kidding.
How many times have you heard that? Yeah, try doing it with a back pain and other pains. Yeah. And I bet pizza's off the menu there, and salami and steaks. What else? Chicken, fried chicken. Yummy. In fact, I think we got fried chicken tonight. Okay, so yeah, that's a Asian one. I suppose there's enough. We could see what you can find out there. Anything else? Looks like we're out of time now, though. I thought we'd better do a lot more, though. Videos. So this was talking about that material. Self-healing. What was the next one? Close tab. Self-healing material. Okay, so got some time to read out that one. Did I get the right one?
Self-healing materials are artificial or synthetically created substances which have the built-in ability to automatically repair damage to themselves without any external diagnosis of the problem or human intervention. Generally, materials will degrade over time due to fatigue, environmental conditions, or damage incurred during operation. Cracks and other types of damage on a microscopic level have been.
So we sort of covered that before. Biometrics, polymers, elastomers, polymer breakdown. Complicated stuff, isn't it? Wikipedia has quite a lot of information there. Self-healing. Our body does an amazing job on that. Amazing, really. You cut your skin, and a few days later, it's all healed over again. And what's interesting is you got the ridges on your fingers. It always grows back the same way, so you can't erase your fingerprints. There was another one here I wanted to finish up on. And the rest of it was how does a quantum computer work? So we'll cover that next time. Oh no, that probably was it. Thought I had one on carbon. Did I get rid of that one? I thought I had one on carbon. What was that one?
She got rid of it.
Did I not read it? Or maybe I read it out. It doesn't matter. Material, MetaMaterials. And what was the terminology for that? A new field of
MetaMaterials is a new field of interdisciplinary research, which deals with artificial material composites engineered to display physical properties that surpass or complement those available in nature.
So what ones have we got used today? 8 amazing uses for MetaMaterials. So let's see what that says. Bend light to create an invisibility cloak. Yep. Construct satellite trackers that never need to move. Similar technology could serve as portable energy efficient satellites, communication units for soldiers on the battlefield. Now you can always see there's always military involved in this. Enable ultra fast data processing. MetaMaterials could be also reduce the size of chips so they be tiny and speedy. Obviously, that's obviously makes sense because they're getting down to atom levels at the moment. The molecules in silicon chips, and of course, heat is a problem. Being broadband connections to planes. Being broadband connections to planes, trains, ships, and cars. Imagine having internet access while everywhere. I thought they had internet on planes now.
Oh, they do.
They do. I thought they were allowing it back on. Normally, you'd have to turn off your laptop and everything. Create a camera that uses compressed microwave images without a lens or moving parts. So we talked about that before. Nanofins called meta lenses could get rid of it. Could replace the bulky gateways currently in use at airports. What's that got to do with the camera, though? Are they talking about the big bulky scanners they use? Become the building blocks for high-speed fiber optics. Okay. Build a better smartphone. Yeah, better smartphone, metal lenses. So that's the same as the top one, though.
Right.
It's without lenses. Oh, they're talking about here microwave ones, and they're talking about natural light ones down here. Okay. Contribute to making efficient solar cells, less bulky, and doesn't want more efficiency solar cells. I thought they already did that, though. You're into all that sort of research, aren't you?
Right. It's ongoing. I mean, about the best efficiency you can get out of a solar panel is about 21%.
Really? At the moment?
Ideal.
I thought they had ones they print out on plastic now, and you can put them around anything you want.
Oh, they do to a degree.
And build it into.
You know, the problem is the bus bars get brittle and they crack and they break and they're awful and they're expensive. Very, very expensive.
And of course, I heard ones that you can build that actually built into the tiles of the house, the roof house tiles.
Well, yeah, that's what Elon's, he's proposing to do that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
And you just connect them together, and they're like add an extra battery, and so that makes sense. Build it into roof tiles automatically in the product, and you really could be putting back into the grid or your own house.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So we'll probably leave it there. As you can see, this subject can go on and on and on. Invisibility cloak metamaterials. I've covered that in the past before, but it doesn't mean we won't go over it again and do updates on it and see if we can find out more things. Metamaterials in medicine, a new era for future. What are metamaterials and meta services? So yeah. Quantum computers, Wednesday, I guess, or Tuesday evening America time. So we'll see you then. I'm just going to close down with my end credits now. And coming up to 4 p.m. here. I'm not sure what time it is there at the moment, John. What time is it over there?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. only.
9 p.m. only.
Okay. So I thought there might be more people around today. So we got up to 5 watching at some stage there. So maybe it went good. Wasn't so much on UFOs though. So maybe they got put off that it wasn't about the UFO topic. But everything's related, as I keep telling you. Quantum computers, metamaterials. So yeah, it's a big, interesting world going around us here. So we got to keep up with what's going on. So yep, just end my credits here now, and do like and share, and then hope we come back Wednesday. And I'm not too sure what topics we're going to have, but I thought we were going to have a few guests on talking about Roswell and stuff, but that didn't sort of happen again for some reason. So yeah, we'll try and get Earl on again soon as well to talk about anything that's happening in the UFO MUFON side of things. So yeah, good night everybody, and I'll just cue the music here and the credits.
Good night, guys.
I haven't seen Renee lately. Probably on another live stream somewhere. And Jamal, I haven't seen him around for a while. So good night. Let's see.